Hello, Pat Bravo here. In this video, your questions answered, coming right up. Hey, how are you? Pat Bravo here. Okay, you can see me. I am in my house. No dress, no makeup, nothing. Yesterday, I was putting a post on Instagram. For many of you that are new to my social media channels and they didn't get to know me very well, so I was thinking maybe I should post something like a Q&A post where you can ask me all the questions and I'm going to answer all your questions. It was so fun. So here I have a bunch of questions and thank you so much for your support and loyalty. You are the best. Okay, let's go with the first question from RAPAW1. And it says, "Hi Pat, nice to meet you. How long have you been designing fabrics and how many ranges have you done? Are you from the UK? I love that word, ranges. Yeah, I was designing fabrics since 2005. That was my first collection that I did. Before that, I was doing hand-painted and hand-stamped fabrics. But those were actually done in smaller pieces. It wasn't like a commercial grade bolts with 15 yards and all that. It was hand-painted, hand-stamped, fat quarters, half a yard, and in some cases they were yards. I remember I did for some artists that they were doing some art quilts. I was doing 1 yard pieces, and since it's very complicated to set the painted fabric, you have to let them sit and dry on the floor before you're going to heat set to fix the colors to the fabric. This is about my beginnings. She also asked here, how many ranges have you done? If I don't make mistakes and I remember correctly, I did around 34 collections so far since 2005 until now. Okay, so let's go with the next question. Hi Pat, where do you look for inspiration when it's time for a new line? I have Fable and Indie Folk. Hope to start cutting next week. Hey girl, I would love to see your elephant done. Inspiration comes from so many places. I like to gather a bunch of different places where I can get my inspiration. For example, magazines. I can see a beautiful ad on a magazine that triggers me like a beautiful situation and where I can come with a collection from there. Also, many places that I couldn't go, but I can see them on internet. So I gather bunch of pictures of distant places, color stories from there. I mean, there are so many places that I can visit without visit. It's not a problem for me. I love to be on the internet. I love to look for different things always. And you know, the inspiration immediately can come from any of those far distant places. Also, I love to follow fashion, and I follow fashion runways, Chanel, Kenzo, Dior, many fashion designers, and I love to see what they do. And I always get inspired by what they do. For example, I remember years ago, Kenzo in 2011 was doing a collection, beautiful collection, and it was so summery that I looked at the entire runway. It was about 9 minutes, and I said, oh my God, this could be perfectly well a collection. And this is how Rapture, one of my collections, was born, from that Kenzo runway. I have to say, I love everything Kenzo does. It's my favorite designer so far. But I mean, inspiration comes from so many places. Let's go to the next one. Hey Pat, I want to know it all. Where are you from? Do you live in the US because of your work? What are your plans for the future? Love from Brazil. Hello, my Brazilian followers. How are you? I was born in Argentina in South America, and I came to live here 29 years ago because my husband was sent here to open a branch of the company that he was working for. Where are your plans for the future? My plan for the future, no questions about it. Keep doing beautiful fabrics. Keep doing the most collections I can. But now I'm going to try to work a little bit more on social media channels, YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, to try to get like a better communication channel with all of you. Okay, let's go to the next question. This one is from Quilted Basket. Hi, Pat. Where are you from? Love listening to you. What's your favorite part of the designing? My favorite part is to apply color of my collections. Yeah, color is, if not the most, one of the most important aspects of the collection. You can make it or break it. And also, when you change the color story or the color palette of one collection, you can give the collection a different emotion. People can see through color. They can make you feel sad, happy, at peace. So this is for me one of the most important aspects. Color, 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 color. Soul del Sur says, hey Pat, I would love to know if at the beginning of your career, if you ever felt like being a non-native English speaker and not being in your country was a disadvantage / weakness. If you did, how you overcome it. According to what I see from you, with lots of humor, I guess, I am from Uruguay, living in the UK, and trying to start a career as an illustrator, surface designer, and I feel like that sometimes. Oh, sending you lots of love. You're an inspiration, and I don't say that to be flattering. I really mean it. Her name is Alicia. Alicia, so nice to meet you here. Let me tell you this, I relate so much to this question because I remember when I came here, I struggled a lot in the first years. I came here knowing just basic English. In general, always for immigrants that come to live here, it's like a feeling of you don't belong at the beginning. But the more years you live here, you feel in a more awkward situation, which is you still are not accommodated here and you start forgetting there. At a moment, like me, it happens to me that sometimes I didn't belong there and I didn't belong here. So it was a disadvantage, I know, but much of the disadvantage is in our head because we try to condition ourselves, is our minds, is like, oh no, she's looking at me differently because my accent is differently. And this is not the case many, many times. People here are so welcoming, warm, inviting. They really like you when you come and work hard. And in my case, I had that feeling in the beginning. It was more in my mind. But one day I said to myself, listen, Pat, just be yourself. Put yourself in front of the camera. I'm sure you don't have to be liked by everyone. Everyone is not going to like you, but at least you have some people that will like you. And from there, you have to start building up. Let's go to the next one. This one is from Eve of the Extrusion. Hi, Pat. I would love to know what's your favorite things to make with your own fabrics. Quilts. Well, I love to do quilts. I love to do handbags. In my beginnings, when I was living in Argentina, when I was practically a child, I started sewing at 9 years old. And at 13, I went to a seamstress, like a kind of college, community college, something like that. It was in kind of a university for seamstress. And I wanted to learn and I wanted to learn, and I convinced my mom, and poor my mom, she's the best. She always says, Pat, you are too young to go and sew. I says, Mom, I'm sewing here in the house, so I want to go and learn. So after I came back from school, I used to go every afternoon, 2 hours. I took a course, and in 2 years, I became a seamstress. So in that age, I used to sew a lot of garments. And when I moved here, the magic happened. One day I was at Joann's, and I fell in love with one quilt. I was so intrigued, and there was a sales lady there. She was assisting one lady that was putting some pile of bolts of fabric. She was moving the bolts around, and she was coming back and squinting with her eyes and taking some out and putting some new. And I asked the sales girl, what is she doing? She's auditioning fabric for a quilt. So what is a quilt? I said, I didn't know what a quilt was. And she said, well, all these things you see here hanging up. And I start seeing the magic of triangles and squares. And he said, oh, I want to do this. How can I start? So she took me to the section where the rulers were and the rotary cutter. And so she started giving me this, you need this, you need this. And I'm going to give you one book it was for very, very, very beginners. It's like actually patchwork, like squares and nine patch blocks and all that stuff. Forget about triangles. No, it was a very simple beginner book for quilting. And from there I learned. So basically quilts, answer your question, basically quilts is what has caught my attention. From there I start doing quilts, some more quilts. Yes, I do handbags, I like to do pillows, I do table runners, but the quilt is something that cut my breath away. It takes my breath away. Something that is... Okay, so let's go to the next one. This one comes from Hugo Nevas. Do you have a favorite line that you have created? How do you feel your designs have evolved over time? Wow, what a good question. What influences do you feel the most impact your designs? My favorite lines were the indie trilogy. The three indie groups are my favorite. But if I have to tell you which is my favorite so far, it has become indie folk. This is very special for me, very dear for me. It's my heart in Sonia, because I designed that collection by my mother's bedside. So it has a special meaning for me. My evolution, yes, I can see an evolution of my group for sure. I like to become more organic, but more intense in a way. Lately, I have been going towards, the celebration of the art of craftsmanship, everything that is done with their hands. So knitting, scrapbooking borders, everything that is done with hands, I pay a lot of attention. The ragged borders of a quilt, if I can create like a pattern of lines, that this can become a fabric on its own. One of the fabrics that I made for indie folk, that you can see that it has lines of dots, that it comes in white background and in mustard background. Well, I fell in love with a Tunisian, like a vase, and it has marked all these lines and uneven lines. And I saw it and I said, oh my God, this is gorgeous. I could imagine the work of the person who made that, is how much time they put, and they put their heart on the soul making that product. So for me, everything that is celebrating the art of craftsmanship is what it gets me to start making a collection. And because of indie in general, the three groups celebrates the art of craftsmanship. These are my three favorites. Okay, we have another person from Brazil here. Oh my goodness, Claudia Di Matelier. It says, hi, Pat, I'm from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I live in USA for many years. Oh my God. Due to my husband's work, We are back in Rio. I had a chance to meet you in the 2016 Quilt Market and also take a pic with you. Oh my God. You are such a good person and I love your work. I make handmade products and I would love to learn surface design. I know the basic of illustrators. Is Photoshop better? Do you draw first? Would you tell us about your creative process? Thanks in advance. Well, I celebrate that you will like to start a career in surface design. If you ask me, if you're going to start working on surface design, the indicated program to learn for you, it will be Illustrator. Why? Let me tell you, Illustrator also, besides working on fabrics, you can work on any surface. Yes, you can do it in Photoshop, but depends the look you want to give or the style you have in your designs. For me, I do everything in Illustrator. Do you draw first? Would you tell us about your creative process? Yes, I sketch first. And now I do everything on my iPad Pro. And I install an app that is called AstroPad. It opens your Illustrator inside your iPad. Well, suppose that you have your Illustrator installed in your computer, in your laptop. It's going to be very difficult to work. But when you have that app installed in your iPad, you have to install it in your iPad and in your laptop. So when you turn it on, your actual Illustrator program is going to be opening in your iPad. And you, from there, with the iPad pen, you can draw and do everything you want. Let's do the next one. Runs with Tutu. Hi. I want to thank you for the monthly challenges you did maybe 4 years ago. You were on the Pat Sloan podcast. Oh my God. Yeah. And I was the first one I heard about AGF. The challenges you did pushed me to try different things. And even I won 1 month. Oh my God, thank you so much for remembering me, for remember that. I was trying to give the best advice I can. Always try to push yourself in different directions, even if it feels uncomfortable. I mean, nothing is going to be done if you stay still and you got stuck and paralyzed by fear. That's a no. You have to push yourself. You have to try. And believe me, practice makes perfect. If this is a piece of advice that I can give you, is that practice makes perfect. Oh, Sharon Holland. She's another designer from AGF. Whoa, great questions from your followers. Say hello, beautiful. Hello, beautiful. How are you? So let's go with the next question. Fifth Avenue Fibers. Greetings. Your answers are as interesting as the collections you design. Your designs also tell a story when made into clothing. Always happy. Oh, thank you so much. I always try to create that. It's very difficult in fabric. Usually fabrics that are used in quilts, the scale is a little bit smaller, but I try to always do at least the main fabrics that can be used in garments as well. So I'm very happy. That is a very nice compliment. The next question, it comes from Brenna Love Unicorns. Hi, it's Brenna. I like your indie fabric lines best. But what is your favorite? Well, I think I answered this. Can I tell you a secret? Yes. The indie groups are my favorite, but the indie folk has become my all-time favorite because I did it during the last month of my mother. She has died last September, and I used to go to her bed because she was in bed for the last month of her life, and I used to do the collection by her bedside. So for me, this is very, very, very dear to my heart. It's one of the most important collections I think I will create in my entire career just because of that. Another question from HMS.W.Writing. I love your indie collections, Pat. Are you working on a new fabric design? Oh, well, what a question. It is very difficult for me to work on new collections now. Every time I go and I open the computer. It's very hard. I start to cry and I cannot. I have to close my laptop and do something else, or maybe if I'm working on the computer, do something else, because I can't. I keep remembering my mother, but I guess this is something that is going to heal with time, and I'm going to be able, because I really want to continue doing fabrics, but now I'm very sensible to that. The moment I start designing fabric, I immediately remember my last collection in the fall. I have a huge struggle to do that. Also, I'm going through a period, and I didn't know if I have to talk about this or put this in the open. I am going through a period that is not very good for me. The last 5 years, I start experiencing the symptoms of menopause, but the last 2 years, menopause hit me really hard. I don't know if you can relate to me. In some, I'm 56 and my hair is falling. I don't have energy. I cannot sleep. I have so many issues that if I start telling you all the issues that I have, I mean, well, we can make like a 5 hours long video. I was dedicating most of this time to heal myself, to go to the doctors, to start a treatment. I started a treatment. I am now in bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, and I'm feeling some of the effects already. I am doing much better. I guess I just started a few days ago, and the doctor told me that it's going to take a few weeks to see the full effects of that. But I was having a lot of stress. The last month of 2017 came many things at the same time. The death of my mother, and the month before, taking care since she was diagnosed, and my menopause going, it was impossible. It is impossible. I don't know if you are having or experiencing the same symptoms. We feel miserable, right? And I said, no, I have a company. I run a company. I have my own lines of fabrics I design. I have to do better. I cannot live like that. And I went to the doctor and I explained that to the doctor. And he said, Pat, you don't have to live like that. Menopause is something that, it happens to every woman. Some women, they have like a kind of, I don't know if it's called smooth symptoms, or their transit is very smooth and they don't have heat episodes, but no more than that. But some women, they go through the menopause really bad, and this is supposed to be my case. So as you can see, my hair is short, and I'm working. The doctor told me that my hair is going to grow back, but I have to be patient, and I have to take my hormones. To be honest with you, I didn't want to go with any other hormones that it will be the bioidentical hormones, because they are natural. They are extracted. They are identical to our genetic code. They're extracted from plants. So it's supernatural. You're not going to have any issues. No women are having issues. I read about it. When the doctor told me about, I said, I want something natural. I don't want synthetic hormones. And I says, well, the best plan for you, it would be bioidentical. So when I read, when he told me that, I came back and I started reading and I started watching videos, and I became convinced that bioidentical hormones are the thing for me. So I'm very hopeful. I'm very happy that I start, and I'm sure, let's say, become normal or myself again. Years ago, I used to be much more happy, not so stressful. My mind was foggy, all the time. And when I was young, it didn't happen like that. So I didn't see the full effect of that. The doctor told me, "Oh my God, your mind is gonna clear up. It's like you see a lot of smoke. I'm gonna blow out, and the smoke is gonna disappear." And I said, "Oh my God, doctor." So I'm very hopeful, and I'm seeing some effects. I'm seeing it already, and but. That's why, so many things happen at me at the same time. And now I am taking care of myself. But yes, I want to do more collections. This is what I love to do. I love to do collections. I love to curate collections. This is my life. Since I came here doing quilts, I used to buy fabrics. So I was on the other side. I was buying fabrics, and I wasn't very happy with the selection that it was there around the 1990s, 1992, 1994. And I said, "Oh my God, I would love if fabrics could be like that, or like that, or like that." Little did I know that years later, I will be actually designing fabrics and manufacturing fabrics, and this is something that it really makes me the happiest person on earth. So I hope I could answer your question, and thank you so much. I hope you take this what I said about my physical health. I didn't offend anybody or say something out of place. This is what is actually happening to me. I mean, if you have any questions, or if you have any comments about this, and if you are experiencing that, please write me down on the comments section, telling me your story. Perhaps we can talk, and we can chat, and we can give a support each other. I think that's it. I have more questions, but I will try to cut it up here and tell you that thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your following. Thank you so much for liking and buying my fabrics. This means the world to me. I'm gonna be making more fabrics. So my last video, I think I said, many people are asking if I can revive or reprint the original indie. Maybe yes, or maybe I'm gonna rework some of the designs and create a whole new group. I think I'm gonna do that. I am thinking about it. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment. And if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. I have many, many more videos coming up for you. So thank you so much, and we'll see you the next time. Bye.